Hello everyone and welcome to the online lecture series by Shet Vidya Mandir English High School and Junior College of Science and Commerce. Myself Jayesh Rajgor, and today we are going to study 12th Standard Commerce Information Technology. My dear students, in the previous video lectures we have studied about chapter number 1, Advanced Web Designing, where we studied about how to create web forms in HTML5. Also, we studied about how to use various new input elements. Also, we studied about CSS and its properties, about the meta tag. In the previous video lecture, we studied about the selectors in HTML. Today, my dear students, we'll move further and study some more interesting facts about HTML5 and various uses we can make to create web pages and websites in HTML5. Let us begin with positioning in CSS. My dear students, positioning of various divs, or we can say blocks, in HTML5 on your web page plays a very important role and gives a very unique and good looking piece to your web page or website. Imagine a website which is jumbled up. Imagine a web page which is not looking that good because things are not placed properly. Similarly, positioning helps to position the HTML elements properly in particular positions. The position property is used to set position for an element. Yes, my dear students, where the paragraph will be, where the heading will be, where a particular image will stand, everything is decided with the help of positioning in CSS. The element can be positioned using top, bottom, left and right properties. So in this way, my dear students, positioning in CSS plays a very important role. Here is the syntax used to apply positioning in CSS. Namely, the selector, that is the tag, and then in curly brackets you declare the positioning, that is position and the value of position. Similarly, the pixels, or we can say the points through which the positioning is to be done, where values in positions are fixed, absolute, relative, and values of top, bottom, left, right are in pixels. So basically there are three important positionings, that is fixed, absolute and relative. These are the three important positions in CSS. Similarly, the values of top, bottom, left, right are in pixels. Let us understand all these four important types of positioning. Yes, the three are fixed, relative and absolute, but there is one more called as static positioning. Now my dear students, this is by default position for HTML elements, so you don't need to directly apply it. It is by default positioning, that is static positioning. This is a by default position for HTML elements. It is not affected by the top, bottom, left and right properties. Now moving on to the main ones, that is fixed positioning, relative positioning and absolute positioning. The first one here we talk about is fixed positioning. Name itself suggests fixed, means a particular fixed place. This property helps to put the text fixed on the browser. The fixed property forces an element into a fixed particular position, that is relative to the browser window. The fixed element will not move even when the pages are scrolled. So it is basically stuck fixed at a particular position. Even if you scroll, the place of that particular property will be fixed, that particular part will be fixed, and it will move even if your page is scrolled. Let us see a particular example for it, my dear students. Here is the example which applies fixed position to paragraph. Here the position is fixed from top, that is 50 pixels, from right 5 pixels, and the color for the paragraph is blue. So in this way you can apply CSS positioning to particular elements. Let us see how the output looks like. When we close style, we close head, we are putting in three paragraphs, paragraph 1, paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. The P we are using class is equal to fixed. Let us see the output and understand how exactly this positioning works. Yes, my dear students, a simple program of fixed positioning in CSS. You can see, my dear students, this is paragraph 1, this is paragraph 2, this is paragraph 3. This is fixed positioned text. Now why this particular text is on the right hand side? Because here you use a class to declare P fixed, and here in all these three paragraphs you have not applied it. Where you apply it? You apply it on the fourth one over here, that is P class is equal to fixed, and that is why this particular part appears on the right hand side, that is top 50 pixels and right 5 pixels. So this comes over here immediately. So in this way, my dear students, fixed positioning can be applied. Moving on to the next one, we have relative positioning. The relative positioning property is used to set the element relative to its normal position, basically to send back to a normal position, my dear students, relative positioning is used. Also, we have absolute positioning. This property sets an element in a specific location and it is not affected by the flow of the page. So it is not affected by the flow of the page. It is absolute. This property positions the element at specified coordinates. We are going to give coordinates here, and based on those coordinates, an absolute position is being decided for a particular element. Here is an example, my dear students. See, once again a class is being created. Dot first position is relative, and from top minus 10 pixels, from right minus 10 pixels, and for h2 the position is absolute, left 100 pixels, top 150 pixels. So these are the basic pixels which we are giving of values for top, left and right. In this way you can check the output, my dear students. It is very specific. Heading 1 on the left hand side, in the center you can see over here, this is heading 2. On the big browser, when you check it on your computer, on your mobile screen, my dear students, you will be able to figure it out very easily how these positions work. Basically you need to remember, my dear students, fixed positioning is fixed. It doesn't get affected even when the page is scrolled. Relative is relative to its normal position, and absolute, it is not affected by the flow of the page. So these are the three important positions you need to remember, my dear students. Moving further, let us understand some more properties now, starting with the float property of CSS. Now this also somewhere is related to positioning. Float is a CSS property written in CSS file or directly in the style of an element, and it defines the flow of a content, how exactly it will flow, whether it will flow to the left side, whether to the right hand side, or none. So basically float is deciding the flow of the content on the page. Here you have types of floating properties. Float left, this keeps the element float on the left side of the container. Float right, this keeps the element float on the right side of the container. And none means it is the default property that this shows the element as it is. So basically left and right are the two basic positions of flow of the content. Here you can see an example, my dear students. A class with dot float left is created and a class with dot float right is created. These two classes will be used in our program to set a particular heading to the left and set a particular heading to the right. You can see, my dear students, float left, we have created a class and we have done some declaration as background color gold, size 20 pixels. Float left. Similarly, float right also we have put the same thing, only thing is that it will be on the right hand side. We have closed the style and we have used these classes which we created with the headings, that is h2 class float left, then we have put the h2. Similarly, we have also used the other one with float right. So both the classes are used, and when we check the output, my dear students, here you can see one heading on the left hand side and the other on the right hand side. This is defining the flow of the content using the float property. Moving on to the next one, we have display property, my dear students, yet another property of CSS. The display property in CSS defines how the components, that is div, hyperlink, heading, etc. are going to be placed on the web page. Once again, this is related to positioning, my dear students. It specifies how the element is displayed. As the name suggests, this property is used to define the display of different parts of a web page. Various parts of the web page are very specifically mentioned through display property. Very easily, my dear students, you can do this using the syntax, that is inline, block block inline, and none. These are the values for display inline. What exactly it means? In one line, it is used to display an element as an inline single line element. What is block? It is used to display an element as a block element. It starts on a new line and takes up the whole width of the browser window. Basically, the width of the browser window, as you can see, this is the width of browser window. Similar width can be taken into consideration. And what is block inline? Now this value is very similar to inline element, but the difference here, my dear students, is that you are able to set the width and height also. In inline, you are not able to set the width and height, but when you use block inline, you will be able to use or set the width and height together. Then we have none, the element is completely removed. So in this way, my dear students, display properties also used. Here you can see a small example for it. You have a paragraph which has display inline written over it, and then you have a very basic paragraph written, welcome to Bal Bharti JavaScript HTML5. You can see, my dear students, you have written it on different lines, but it all comes inline because display is kept as in line. My dear students, this is very easy to understand. Similarly, you have another example here, HTML language in, that is English, and here you can see, my dear students, style type text CSS, display block, background color orange, and then, my dear students, a paragraph has been declared. And here you can see very easily a hyperlink is also given for balbharti.com, and then HTML close. When you do this, my dear students, you get an easy output as this, where a block is being created, and in that block a hyperlink for Bal Bharti is also generated. You can perform this practical and check the output and check the differences in color by applying proper colors to it. So here it is very clear to understand display inline, display block, and block inline properties of CSS. Based on CSS properties studied so far, let us now have a representation of semantic tags in 11th standard textbook. You also have done this, my dear students. Semantic tag is nothing but a combo of header section, of article section, of footer section. Every website, my dear students, has a header section, has a article section, has a footer section, and these are basically the semantics. It has a aside section also. Basically, these sections are called as semantics in HTML. We have a navigation section which takes you to various hyperlinks. So all these sections are termed as semantics in HTML5. So how to use this? There is a brief program given here. We'll be performing this brief program, and after this you will get a output something like this, my dear students. A very easy one. The whole concept about semantics is to understand that's how exactly HTML web page or HTML5 basics is about including new semantics, that is a header section. You can see this first section, the pink one here. It includes semantic tags like header, footer, and nav. The bottom, usually on every website, the footer section includes the copyright, or we can say the social media platforms which the web page is connected to. So this is the orange one, the basic, or we can say the footer section. Similarly, we have a navigation section over here which has two hyperlinks over here. The nav element represents a section of navigation links. Over here also you have some hyperlinks. Then we have an article, a blog type content which is mentioned over here. The aside element is content that is tangentially, or we can say tangentially related to content around it, and is typically for marking up sidebars, articles on article tags. So in this way, my dear students, header, footer, article, aside, all are basic semantics. This program might look a big one, but it is very easy to perform this based on the semantics. In this way, my dear students, today we complete an important integral part of this chapter, Advanced Web Designing, wherein we studied positioning in CSS and semantics in CSS. In the next video lecture, we will continue further with lists in HTML5. Till then, stay safe, stay connected. Thank you very much.